and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Baby located at Markham Hotel with critical injuries, man in custody. Victim sustained significant injuries in violent Brampton sexual assault, police. Former Barrie police officer pleads guilty in violent 2021 arrest captured on video. Porter reveals new jets with free Wi-Fi, no middle seats alongside increased service. Woman in her 30s seriously injured after being struck by vehicle in North York. Toronto man sentenced to 8.5 years after pleading guilty in 2 violent sexual assault cold cases.
These were the headlines, and now let's jump right into the details.
York Regional Police say they are investigating after a baby was seriously injured in Markham on Tuesday afternoon. Police said they were called to a hotel in the area of Woodvine Avenue and Highway 7. When officers arrived, they located a 2-month-old baby with critical injuries. Police said the baby was rushed to the hospital. Meanwhile, police said a man had been taken into custody. It is unclear what the relationship between the man and the baby is. Police added that there is no threat to the public safety. More to come. A 33-year-old Toronto man has been sentenced to 8.5 years in custody after pleading guilty in connection with 2 violent sexual assaults in Mississauga and Richmond Hill almost a decade ago. In September 2013, a 47-year-old female victim was exiting a transit bus in the area of South Service Road and Crestview Avenue in Mississauga when a male suspect produced a weapon, grabbed the victim and pulled her into a darkened area where he sexually assaulted her. The following year, in November, a 70-year-old female exited a transit bus at around 12:30 a.m. at Yonge Street and Canyon Hill Avenue in Richmond Hill and was approached by an unknown male armed with a knife who demanded money from her, then pulled her into a field and sexually assaulted her. In both cases, the suspect reportedly threatened to kill the victim if she went to the police. A lengthy and thorough investigation was conducted, but the suspect remained unidentified, York Regional Police said in a press release on Tuesday. In the fall of 2021, the Centre of Forensic Sciences notified investigators of a forensic link from an unrelated incident. Officers pursued this new information, which ultimately led to identifying the suspect. On Monday, J.N. David Chow pleaded guilty to sexual assault with a weapon, sexual assault causing bodily harm, and disguise with intent. He was sentenced to 8.5 years in custody. A former Barrie police officer who was involved in a violent arrest that was captured on video nearly 2 years ago has pled guilty to assault days after resigning from the force. Jason Stamp entered the plea in a Barrie courtroom on Monday in connection with the February 4, 2021 incident on Dunlop Street. Video of that incident, which was posted to social media at the time, showed an officer hitting a man on the head with what appeared to be a taser as he pinned him to the ground and threatened to light him up. The man was eventually taken into custody and charged with causing a disturbance and assault in an attempt to resist arrest. But after the video surfaced, then Barrie Police Chief Kimberly Greenwood asked that the Ontario Provincial Police conduct an independent investigation into the arrest, which ultimately led to the charges against Stamp. The Crown and the defense both submitted an agreed statement of facts as part of Stamp's plea deal. The court heard that Stamp witnessed a man named Skylar Kent skateboarding through the Dunlop Street intersection and decided to pull him over to issue him a ticket. Following that, Kent directed several expletives towards Stamp, the court was told. The skateboarder initially continued on his way after receiving the ticket, but when Stamp attempted to pull him over a second time, he did not stop, leading to the altercation. I tried to keep going because I figured he cannot pull me over twice in a row like that, Kent told CTV News Barrie in 2021. In her decision, the judge in the case called Stamp's behavior appalling and abhorrent, adding that it represented a gross breach of his duty as police officer and that duty is to protect the community. She ultimately sentenced him to a 6-month conditional sentence, including 3 months of house arrest. The end of the criminal case comes after Stamp formally resigned from the Barrie Police Service on Friday. Pearson Airlines will soon offer flights out of Toronto Pearson International Airport to a number of destinations on a fleet of new jets. Previously, Porter exclusively flew out of Toronto's Billy Bishop Airport, but the airline will soon be offering service from Pearson to Ottawa, Montreal, Vancouver, Halifax, Edmonton, and Calgary, with select routes launching on February 1st. The company also says it will eventually fly from Pearson to destinations in the US, Mexico, and the Caribbean. The new planes, Embraer E195-E2 aircraft, offer an elevated flying experience, Porter says. 100 of these models will be added to Porter's existing fleet, it said. The Embraer E195-E2s are the most environmentally friendly single-aisle aircraft, Porter said, adding that the planes are up to 65% quieter and up to 25% cleaner than previous generation aircraft. Travelers can enjoy free high-speed Wi-Fi on flights, and peals will be offered on longer haul travels. A 2x2 cabin configuration means no one will find themselves stuck in a middle seat. The aircraft holds 132 seats and also offers in-seat power. The routes being launched on February 1st are from Toronto to Ottawa and Montreal. In the following weeks of February, the company says they will roll out routes to Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary, respectively. Service from Willoughby Shop Airport will continue to be offered by Porter for regional routes. A new analysis by realtor firm Remax says the Toronto real estate market may be better positioned than previously thought to weather the financial downturn expected this year, though there still may be some choppy waters ahead. The new report compared average price and the new mortgage values in different markets across the country between the third quarter of 2012 and the third quarter of 2022. It found that in Toronto, loan-to-value ratios hovered at around 53% in the third quarter of 2022 compared to 63% 10 years earlier, suggesting people are putting down a higher percentage of the costs of a new home than they were a decade ago. Loan-to-value ratios are used to express how much debt a person holds on an asset compared to its value. The higher the percentage, the greater the debt level on the asset. Rising prices Remax Canada President Christopher Alexander told CP24 are in fact part of the answer. Some people have generated a lot of equity over the years, he said, alluding to people who have made hundreds of thousands of dollars from properties as the housing market took off. You've had the remote work phenomenon. People are allowed to keep their jobs and move to more affordable markets, Alexander said. But while people in the Toronto area may be putting down a higher percentage of a home's value than they were 10 years ago, there's no getting around the fact that the loans are nevertheless much larger than they were a decade ago, nearly double the size on average. The report notes that given the steady climb in the interest rates last year, banks are tightening their own lending practices and proceeding with caution when qualifying today's borrowers. Limited supply of housing and steady flow of new migrants to the GTA are expected to buoy the housing market in the next year, the report says. Alexander said that supply remains shockingly low and that some potential sellers may be holding back now because they perceive that they won't get top dollar for their properties. He said potential job losses triggered by an economic downturn could also send more homes to market if people can no longer afford their payments. The report noted that mortgage delinquency rates remain low in Canada. A female pedestrian in the hospital with serious injuries after she was struck by a vehicle in North York Tuesday afternoon. Police say it happened in the area of Doris and Norton Avenues, south of Finch Avenue near Yonge Street at around 3:30 p.m. Police arrived on scene after receiving reports that a pedestrian had been struck. Upon arrival, they located a woman in her 30s who was transported to a trauma center with serious non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the vehicle remained on scene, according to police. A 30-year-old man is facing a long list of charges after violent sexual assault in Brampton that left a victim with serious injuries. Police say that the victim met with the suspect in the vicinity of Queen Street and Kennedy Road on January 12. It is alleged that the suspect then forcefully confined the victim in a nearby building where he physically and sexually assaulted her. Police say that a weapon was used in the sexual assault and that the victim sustained significant injuries. Philip Gray, 30, was arrested a short time later and charged with 8 offenses, including sexual assault causing bodily harm, assault with a weapon, and strangulation. Police said that Gray was already on 2 prior release orders for violent offenses at the time of his arrest.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.